Buenos días, buenos días maestros. Vamos a comenzar con el webinar. Primero agradecerles que ya hayan bloqueado justo su audio. Esto es para evitar que se vicie el sonido. Los que no lo han hecho, por favor, bloquear el audio del lado derecho inferior. ¿Me escuchan correctamente? Puedan asentar con la cabeza para saber si, o por el chat, que se escucha bien. Muy bien, muy bien. Gracias, maestros. Pues vamos a comenzar este webinar. Primero, bienvenidos nuevamente a este segundo webinar de una serie de, todavía no sabemos cuántos van a ser, pero sí garantía de que serán otros más. Este webinar pues está dando continuidad al que se tuvo en un principio con Cambridge. Ahora nos está acompañando Oxford y el grupo Educare para poder hacer ustedes este nuevo seminario. Primero, saludar, como siempre lo hago, a las autoridades que estoy seguro que alguna debe de estar por ahí, a nuestros enlaces, a los enlaces que gracias a ellos es que ustedes también están tomando este webinar, y pues a todos ustedes que pues han aceptado esta invitación, particularmente al estado de Hidalgo. Me parece que todavía no se incorpora, pero apenas el día de ayer fue que concluyó el proceso de contratación en Hidalgo. Pues bienvenidos a todos. Este webinar voy a ser muy breve, justo para darle la palabra ya a quienes van a impartirlo. Este webinar forma parte de la habilitación que están recibiendo, habilitación e inducción que reciben los maestros de nuevo ingreso y los maestros que ya tenemos contratados sin servicio en las normales. En la parte de atrás ustedes van a ver al equipo que está participando. Por parte de la DGESPE está el maestro Rubén Enríquez, está la maestra licenciada Quetzali Sánchez, está el ingeniero Ramsés Horta y un servidor, César Romero. Por parte del grupo Educare está el licenciado Juan Manuel León Sánchez, que es el director de Centros de Normales. Está también la maestra Mariana de los Ríos López, que es quien nos acompaña de Oxford. Ahorita tendrán oportunidad de irlos identificando poco a poco con la participación que ellos tengan. Sí quisiera manifestarles un poco mi preocupación, pero a la vez transmitirles la tranquilidad sobre el proceso de contratación de aquellas entidades que todavía no lo terminan, y que sé que hay muchas que están ya también tomando este webinar. El proceso de contratación se está trabajando de manera local en cada una de las entidades, y esto es para que ustedes tengan la garantía y la certeza de que van a ser contratados, que ustedes tienen su lugar, que ya tienen su lugar en las escuelas normales. Solamente hay que dar tiempo para que las entidades puedan dar cauce a todos los trámites administrativos, que son muy diferentes en cada una de ellas, y que al final de cuentas ustedes ya puedan estar dentro de las escuelas normales con todo en orden y según la norma. Este webinar tiene la intención de hacerles llegar un instrumento que les facilite a ustedes hacer un diagnóstico. Ustedes saben que de la fecha en que se contrataron a agosto tienen unas actividades sobre hacer un diagnóstico de todos los alumnos que están en las escuelas normales. Esta herramienta les va a permitir a ustedes justo llevar a cabo un diagnóstico un poco más estandarizado. Ustedes tienen algunos elementos, algunos instrumentos que pueden aplicar de manera particular y de manera contextual, pero este diagnóstico nos va a permitir a todos tener justo los resultados de manera estandarizada. A partir del mes de junio, ustedes podrán realizar este diagnóstico para poder ir ubicando el nivel de inglés de cada uno de los alumnos, y con ellos ir planeando la conformación de los grupos para el siguiente semestre. Esa es la idea particular de este webinar, que las personas de Oxford, nuestros colegas de Oxford, nos puedan explicar de manera puntual cómo va a funcionar esta herramienta, este examen diagnóstico de colocación, para que ustedes puedan aplicarlo con sus alumnos. Les insisto, de aquí, de este mes, a que comience el ciclo escolar, el nuevo semestre, ustedes tendrán que estar involucrándose en esta revisión y análisis de la capacidad académica, del nivel de inglés que tengan sus alumnos para armar de manera eficiente los grupos para el siguiente semestre. Yo los voy a dejar en compañía del maestro Rubén Enríquez, quien profundizará un poco más sobre el objetivo de este diagnóstico y después con la explicación de la maestra Mariana de los Ríos López sobre la herramienta. Nuevamente, bienvenidos, que tengan un excelente seminario y pues muchas gracias.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Well, the webinar is going to be in English as usual. Hope that's okay with you. Well, as Cesar said, we're going to be talking about a tool for a placement exam that is going to be taken by all our students at the Normales. And the objective of this placement test is to classify their students according to their level of English and not according to semester. This is very important because in the past, all the students that joined the Normales school at first semester, they had to take English 1, and then in the second semester, they would go to English 2, etc. And now, what is going to be new is that the groups are going to be classified by level and not by semester. So that is why it's so important to use this placement test so that we can have the groups classified according to the level of English. I hope this is correct. We are going to be using. I hope you agree with all this, but some of the questions that you asked in the previous webinar was related to the curriculum. The University of Cambridge is designing, together with the HESPE, is designing the new curriculum. Of course, this is taking us longer than we expected. You're going to receive the curriculum late. That is a fact, but you are going to get it before the beginning of the next semester. What we're going to be doing before the new semester starts is going to classify our students using these placement tests, which is going to be very easy to use, as you will see. And I know that some Normales schools are already using other placement tools, which is okay, but this is a complement, and this is going to be the standard tool we're going to be using all along the Normales school. We're going to have the results of this placement test, and according to the results, we will be able to organize the groups according to the level of English. Of course, we're going to have several beginner groups at the beginning, of course, because they're going to be most of our Normales students probably are going to be classified in the basic levels. So we will have to open more basic level groups than advanced level. Maybe we're not going to have enough advanced students to open a group. It won't be possible to open one group for just one student. That will be out of the question. However, we're going to have other online options so that these students that already have level B2 or level C1 cannot lose the practice, and they can have access to other online options or MOOCs. We are going to be talking about the MOOCs and the online courses in another webinar, of course. This webinar is going to be for the placement test. And we read your questions from the previous webinar, and we are going to send you the correct answer, the specific answers for all your questions, and that's what we're going to do here too. With this second webinar, please write your questions on the chat, and that's very useful for us. And then we're going to answer every single questions in, and we're going to send it to the coordinator of every state. So let me introduce to you to Maria de los Rios. She comes from Oxford University Press, and she's going to tell us about the placement test that we're going to be using. Thanks again for being here, and I'll let you with Mariana.
Okay, hi everybody. Can you hear me? Can you raise your hand? Because I can see some of you on the screen. Okay, is the sound okay? Can you raise your hand? Well, now I can see only one teacher. Okay. Well, thank you very much. On behalf of Oxford University Press, I'm here to give you an introduction to what your tool of placement test will be for your students as of next school year. So basically, I'm going to show you what the test is about, how it works in very general way. There may arise some questions, but well, I would like you to write any questions or doubts that you may have, and if we have time at the end, I will be very willing to answer them, or I can send an email answering all your questions. So basically, it's the functionality of the platform. So, well, we have the Oxford Online Placement Test. What would be the advantages of using this placement test specifically? Well, we have three very specific characteristics. It's very quick, easy, and accurate and reliable. This test is automatically marked. It will give you instant results. Okay. It's online. You don't need any special software. You just need to go on the web page, and well, it has all the. It is supported by Oxford. It took years and research and piloting in order to release this exam. And well, it has been in the market for some years, and it has worked pretty well for all institutions that use it. So, well, basically, you just have to know how to use it. And the platform will do everything for you. Okay, what are other characteristics of the platform? It has the advantage or the option that you can have a mixture of American and British English. You can do 100% American English in the exam, 100% British, or 50 and 50. You will decide this when you assign a test to a group of students. Okay, so here we have the correlation. Okay, wait. Hear me better? Can you hear me better? Raise your hand, please. Hi, can you hear me better? Hello, can you raise your hand? Hi, can anybody raise a hand? So you let me know that, okay, so you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay. Them to close their audio options.
They have to deactivate the microphones They should deactivate their microphones,
Yeah, just please deactivate your microphones.
please. Thanks.
Okay, are we ready? Okay, well, let's continue. So as I was saying, here we have the correlation of the results of the test of the placement exam with the Common European Framework. So the exam has 120 questions. I mean, using use of English and listening, and the platform gives you a result based on how many correct answers the students have. We have very specific low levels, which are A0, in case the students don't really know any English. Okay, so this is the way the platform, in case a student gets an A0, the platform will show you in what A0 the student is. I mean, if it's really low, which is this score, or mid, or high. Okay, but I don't know, for purposes of placing the students in a course, maybe all of them would be in a really beginner level. Okay, so what do we have in the test? The Oxford Online Placement Test has two parts. One is use of English and the other is listening. So the platform scores as an overall these two skills. I mean, mention or say this. The use of English part is about 30 questions. And it is British or American English, okay, and it has three different types of exercises. Knowledge of form, which grades grammar and vocabulary specifically, understanding of meaning, and knowledge of grammar, vocabulary, and meaning, okay? I will show you each of them. The first one, it is focused on grammar, I mean on form. Basically, students will have multiple choice, and they need to answer correctly or what they think the correct answer is. Okay. The second type of questions test their understanding of meaning. Okay, they read a short dialogue and they decide which of the three options has the same meaning as the one they are reading. And the third type of question, in use of English, test their knowledge of grammar and vocabulary meaning in context. This is a clause. And they need to know, and there is not multiple choice. They really need to know what goes there. So this is the toughest one. Okay? So this really helps us to measure really the ability of the student in the language. Part 2 of the exam is listening, which lasts approximately 15 minutes. And this has 3 different tasks: short dialogues, long dialogues, and monologues. Students, we have the chance to listen twice every exercise. No more, because they would take a lot of time doing this. So 2 times in order to answer each of the questions. Okay? Now, let's talk specifically about the platform. The platform is embedded in an LMS, Learning Management System, which has a lot of advantages because this gives an administrator the chance to really manage and change and modify many things. You cannot modify anything about the test, the content, but you can modify the groups, the student, the classes, the type of exam. It's going to be 100% British, American, and all those things. I will show you in real life how to create a group and how the platform looks like. Okay, so we basically have 2 ways of creating the licenses to place the licenses that students will use in order to enter the platform. One is very personalized. If you have the student's email or the name, or in that case, it will be a very personalized message from the system, or you can even add your own personal message, and it will be sent to the student's email individually. Okay. The second option is just to create the places. You just create 10 places. I mean, you can create up to 999 places for one group, and the system automatically creates the registration information, and you just either, well, if you will have all the students in one room taking the exam, you just cut out the slips and give them, put them in front of the computer. So when they enter the platform, they will register. They will type their own information, basic information, name. I mean, name and their email. And in this part, you can, if you need like an extra thing to identify the group or something like that, you can do it too. So it can be printed in the slip. Okay, this is the part where you select the specific characteristics of the exam, which is, well, in this case, 2 licenses are the ones that we are placing. This is the time the exam, well, this is the time given by the system. You can modify up to 20 minutes or 50 minutes, the less. If you tick here, show the results, that means that you want your students to see that the system show them the result. Otherwise, you tick it off and they won't be able to see in what level they are placed. In here, you can, well, you place, or, well, sorry, you put the date, I mean, the availability of the exam. It will be visible from a due date and the time. Here, I mean, you want to print the login slips, or you want to send emails, and you want to copy in all the emails. I don't really recommend this if you have large groups, because I mean, you will be receiving a lot of emails in your inbox. So I would really suggest to choose many of these. Notify me when the assignment has been submitted. Maybe weekly or daily. Well, in this case, the students will be taking the exam all at the same time. I don't think it will be immediately if you really need that information. If you don't need it, don't tick anything, but never, and you just enter the system and see the information. Okay. This is how the platform shows the results. So this is the name of the group. You have the name of your students. You have the score, the general score they got, the time they took, what level they got in general. I mean, based on the Common European Framework, when the exam was taken, the status of the exam normal. I mean, which nothing happened during the exam. I mean, I don't know, when the lights went off or something like that. The score, the time taken. This is specifically in each section, use of English and listening. The system takes both grades in order to get a general one. If you see in this case, well, this student got B1 in use of English and B2 listening. But overall, depending on the number of questions that he got correct, he was placed in B1. Okay, so this is what I was explaining. So according to the Common European Framework. Okay, so you can export all this information into an Excel sheet, or you can just select and print their they're not certificates, but their diplomas, or their paper sheet where it says what grade or in what level they were placed, which is here. Okay, is the report card for. This is what they will get individually. So you can just print them or send them to your students via email. Okay, there are more advanced features which are not necessary to use if you don't need them. If the organization needs specific things, like more information about students, we have that option to create extra data, well, extra labels or extra things for recollect data, or in case if you already when you develop your English program and you know which the levels are, like level beginners, intermediate, intermediate 1, intermediate 2, upper intermediate. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can create your own custom grade, and this will help you. And you put there like what are the like 1 to 120. What would be like the reference to take into consideration? So the system will match the Common European Framework, well, the results they get with your program. So it will be easy for you to really have the results based on your English program, using also, well, these scores. Now, the technical requirements for the platform are like when you're using a platform, it's very important to run a test to make sure that you have all the necessary or minimum requirements. I mean, everything is on the platform. However, it will be a good idea for the people in the school to check and to know what's necessary for running the exams. So these are like the basic things. Now, okay. So, well, here I have some like questions that I mean, some customers have and are important that you know. For example, how long does it take there to complete? From 15 to 90 minutes. I mean, we set the time. What happens if the test taker's internet connection goes down during the test? The timer stops exactly where the student is. And when the connection goes, on again, you can log in again and you will continue where you stopped, or the lights, whatever the problem was. Your information won't be lost. What happens if the test taker does not complete the test in the time allocated? Well, you need to complete it, because if not, I mean, if they completed just one part, the system won't be able to give you an overall grade, an accurate grade. It will just give you a grade based on what you answer, but it won't be reliable. The exam is adaptive. That means that whenever the student enters, a question will pop up asking the student, what level do you think you have? Basic level, intermediate level, or advanced level? Based on that, the exam begins. I mean, it's the first question the exam pops out. Now, I mean, if you say beginner, the system will ask you a very simple question. But if the system see after 2 or 3 questions that you answer perfectly, it will throw more and more difficult questions. It will happen the same if you say, I am an advanced student, and if the system shows you a very difficult question and you don't answer it correctly, it will show you another. If you don't answer it correctly, immediately it will take you down. It will show you easier questions. So it is adaptive. So within all the exam, I mean, all the questions, the system is able to really see what the real level of the student is. Okay, now let me show you the platform. But it's already
Stop sharing.
Sí, adelante. ¿Tienes cucharita o no?
Okay, so this is the platform. This is the way it looks. This is the way it is. So basically, it has many tabs here. Once you start using it, you will become expert and more will be easier for you to start using it. Basically, the basic steps, you will be using only administration, and test. Mhm. If you don't want to change anything, if everything is just like the basic steps. If you need to do some things more advanced, then we are going to use home. We are going to use wait, sorry. Wait a minute.
¿Cuándo tenemos la información de escuela de toque? Eso, de hecho, se me olvidaba mandar la mensaje de grupo, lo voy a mandar. Eso es hasta 10 días antes de sí, porque yo me pregunta. Sí, de hecho, qué bueno que me preguntaste, porque yo los alumnos ya les avisé, pero ya los... ¿A los diputados también? No, pero los otros, no, 10 días antes, o sea, ya quedaron todos inscritos, todos, sí, y 10 días antes de la fecha del examen, por ahí del 6 de junio, nos llegará a nosotros la información. No. No, a lo mejor es en el CUL de Toluca. Y de hecho, qué bueno que me acordé.
Sorry. So let's continue. Okay, so I was telling you that these are the two basic tabs that you will be using. Administrator and test. So the most, or if you want to do some more advanced changes, you will have to use main change. Don't click home because it will take you. Okay, so what do you have to do? You go to and you have to manage placement group, manage placement results. Basically this. So if you want to create a group, you click on this. I already have these groups. I need to create a new group, which will be adopt in this case, because we also have.
Sorry, can you tell them to turn off their mics?
Okay.
All the options, because there is somebody. It's called Sebastian.
Okay.
We can hear everything he says, so he interferes with what you're saying.
Okay. So teachers, excuse me, but they're telling me that there is a teacher, Sebastian, that he has his micro on. So, please, Sebastian, can you turn your micro off? Because there is interference. I mean, some of your coworkers cannot. And Beatriz, you have your micros on. Can you please turn them off?
Excuse me, if everyone turns off their cameras, I think the connection will improve.
Okay. I don't know if everybody agrees. I mean, there is no problem for me.
We only need the camera at the CEVI de GESPE.
Okay. They're telling them to turn off their cameras as well. Okay. So can I continue? Okay. So here you put the name of the group. And that's something I was telling you is you have two options. Either you just create the number of places, which for me is the best way to do a placement exam, but it's up to you. Or you use a list of email addresses for students. If you choose this option, you have to put all the information in a template. A template that you will find here. I will show you in a minute. Okay, but in this case, let's go for this. 10 places is the minimum. 999 is the maximum. Okay, so you have the exam. Sorry, you have the group. Here it shows. So you go to placement groups. import from files. You go here, and you import data import checklist. Place students groups. You click here, and here it tells you what the template needs to have, which are mandatory and which are optional. You have to save it in this Excel, in CSV, or TXT. Otherwise, the system won't upload it. Right? Okay. So you have the information right here. So you already have the group. So what do you do in order to place a license? You go to the tab of test, you go to assign. Okay, I choose the group that I just created. I click next. And here I choose the exams. Here we're going to have many exams, but in that case, you will only have one, which is Oxford and Placement Test. You choose one. I will recommend you always choose test mode. Why? Because if you use practice mode, the exam you won't be able to use it again in case students don't use it. So this is the safest mode to use it, and students will have the chance to use their exam as practice later on. So that's the best option, test mode. You click next. Here is where you choose what you want in your exam. The section of use of English, if you want American or British. Now let's say I want American. The listening, you have the option of having 100% American accents, because I chose American at the beginning, or 50 and 50. So let's say 100% American. Click next, and here you have all the places created. It doesn't matter you don't use them all at the same time. I mean, you can use only one. For example, because I just want to assign one license. If you pay attention here, the system is telling you in what step you are, and when you finish the process. Okay. Okay, so I will assign just one license. How can I move there? Sorry. Okay, here you have your in checking details. In here, the system tells you what you want, an Oxford Placement Test, use of English, American, 100% American accent, blah, blah, blah. One license. I still have 68, and this is the time where you can modify what I showed you. The minimum 50, maximum 90. And this is the time you want students to see their results or not. Okay, and this is the time which you can change. In this case, I want to print the login strips. And immediately tell the system, are you sure? Yes, perfect. Okay. So I have already created the exam. All right. Now, what happens if I want to? Well, in this case, you didn't download the Excel paper where it shows the login strips. I don't know. But either way, the places are there. What happens if you want to, in the same group, you want to allocate another license? You go to test, but you go now to track. You select the group. Next, online placement exam. I already said one. I click on it. This is the group. Okay. Add students. And I put as many as I want to, as I need. Right? Okay, now let's suppose that our students have already finished their exam. In that case, you go to Markbook. I will show you this, which is already a group that has already answered. So this is the results, the way the system shows you the results. Okay, you have, as I mentioned, this is like the overall grade, the specific grade for each of the the use of English and listening. Okay, and if you see here, if you want to send your students or you want to print their results or just download them, you just choose one, next. Here you have the result. Like example. So you have options here, as you can see, it's just, you print it now, you send this as an attachment via email, or you just send the email. As you, the system gives you like different options. Okay, I just want you to show you this. This column, Cele, this is the one that I was mentioning you in the presentation. I mean, you can add an extra column in case you put here your grades. In this case, for example, this is student Sanchez Ulises. In my system, in my program, was where he got a grade to be placed in a level 2. It could be level elementary or whatever you decide or your program will be or your program is. Okay, so what happens if one of the students never took the placement? That you gave it and the student never show up and the license is there, it's already allocated. You cannot reuse it again if it's allocated, but you can retrieve it, you can get it back and it will be in your pool of exams. It is possible. Let me show you. Let me show you. Manage private placement groups. This one. I may have not. It is here. Test. Mark. Because it wasn't used. It was never used. Okay, so if you pay attention here, this is a group which the due date, is due. None of the allocated licenses were taken. Okay, but we can retrieve it. We can like get it back. Just choose because it's not started. And I just click archive or remove, and it will go back to my license pool. So nothing happens if you allocate a license and the student doesn't use it. However, if the student enters or activates the license, you cannot retrieve it. It doesn't matter if the student didn't finish it. That's why it's very important that when students take the exam, he completes it. Otherwise, you won't be able to do this specific book. So, well, basically, this is what the platform is. This is basically what you do. All the licenses. Why? Look me out again. Because I want to show you where you can see the pool of licenses that you were given. Just that. I mean, I won't take more of your time. Here you have in my account, you have all the information. And here you will have all your classes, but these are like quick accesses to the platform. These are like general information from the platform. You can add notes to your teachers or your students, because you can add teachers to this platform. You can add the teacher and assign specific classes. This is possible as well. Or if not, well, just one person can be responsible for this and just see all the results of all the groups. And here you have the licenses. Here you have like all the licenses that you have. In this case, well, you won't be purchasing them, but they will be allocated or put into your platform. Which one has been allocated? How many, have been consumed, and how many you have available. In this case, this will be the only one that will be appearing in your platform. I mean, for your purposes of using this platform, you won't be using this tab, online practice, because it contains other things. Okay. So I don't know if you have any questions. I mean, basically, this is like how the platform works. Once you allocate or you create 2 or 3 groups, allocate the licenses, to track the students' grades, you see their grades are in the mark book. I mean, you will become experts, and it will be very, very easy to use. Okay. Okay, teacher. Well, thank you very much for your help. Any questions that you have to answer them, so just write them in the chat. This is I think this is the way it works. And well, thank you very much.
¿Tienen preguntas? Escucharía, ¿verdad? Escucha las preguntas.
No, I don't.
Pregúntales.
Do you have any questions now? But I'm not there in the chat. Hi, do you have any questions? Pero no los escucho, ¿eh?
Pero ya conozco esta actualidad.
Okay. Hi, teachers. Hello. Do you have any questions now?
Yeah, there are some questions from us
Okay.
right in the chat window.
Okay. El chat window. ¿Cómo hago para que aparezca el chat? No lo conozco. Aparezca el chat. Okay, so here I have some questions. Now, when can we get the presentation? Well, I can send it to you. I mean, there are many manuals on how to do a very specific, all the steps that I show you. I mean, very specific information about it. And I will send everything. I mean, well, through Educare, which is the one which is in charge of this. And how accurate is it taking into account that writing and speaking are assessed? Well, it is pretty accurate regarding these specific abilities or these specific things that it's measuring. However, you can add, if you consider necessary, I mean, speaking and writing. I mean, and you can like put it into the system to get like a more accurate grade, which like any placement test. To take like the written part, listening, then you will have a teacher that will interview you to really know your level. How would you determine the number of licenses? Well, that thing, I mean, remember that I'm only here to give you like the walkthrough the platform. I mean, all the technical things about the number of licenses and the payment and all those things. I mean, you have to see them with the people here in the HESP. Unfortunately, we don't have an offline version. This is an Oxford online English test. Okay, and the same. I mean, we just need to work with the people here to know how this for you, but to guide you on how to create your own account, or if it's going to be a general account, or if they're going to create individually your own accounts. I mean, we need to work on that. Don't worry about it. The account and login details, that's what I was mentioning, don't worry about it. When the school will notify, I will review on that. But thank you very much. Okay. Mira, todavía, o sea, básicamente, pues, a las preguntas que pude responder con respecto a... No, pero me están haciendo preguntas.
Esas ya las contestaste.
Sí, ya.
Pues si quieres, déjame.
Ok.
Tú ya concluirías.
Sí.
Well, I'm sorry about the technical issues. You know, we're getting familiar with this platform too, but we promise we'll improve little by little. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for being here with us. Thanks for typing your questions. You are going to receive, of course, a manual and the link and all the passwords so that you can join the platform and you can explore it a little bit before your students take the placement test. Of course, you're going to receive also the dates, the suggested dates for the placement test. And we're going to send it to the coordinator, to the state coordinator. And through him, you are going to get all the necessary information. We're going to analyze the questions. There are several questions. The placement test is not only for new students. The placement test is for all the students, and we already have all the necessary arrangements so that all the students at your normales can take the placement test. Don't worry for this. Don't worry for any of these matters. The HSP is taking care of this, and we're having a very close communication with your coordinators, with your state coordinators. It says here, there's a question, should we also test the students that are already in the normales, and are those students going to place in levels as well? Yes, that is the idea. We have to organize groups according to levels and not according to the semester. The curriculum will be ready, and once you have the groups classified, you'll have the contents so that you know what to teach. I think I can't see the questions anymore, but don't worry, they are recorded, and we also have your previous questions of the last webinar. I think Cesar is going to say a few words now, and please be very close to your stage coordinator because he or she is going to receive all the information for starting the placement test. Okay, I'll let you with Cesar Romero.
¿Estoy conectado? Sí, estoy conectado. Bueno, pues ya solamente, maestros, para agradecerles su participación. Yo deseo verdaderamente que este webinar haya sido de utilidad. Es una parte importante que ustedes desarrollarán en sus escuelas normales para poder contar con los grupos formados exactamente por el nivel que se requiere trabajar. Agradecerle a la maestra Mariana que ha explicado el uso de esta plataforma y del diagnóstico. Sabemos que algunos de ustedes podrán tener problemas de conectividad. Esos problemas los vamos a tratar de solucionar en la medida de lo posible desde acá, desde la DGESTO, para que todos tengan oportunidad de realizar este diagnóstico de la mejor manera. Agradecerle también al licenciado Juan Manuel León Sánchez que nos haya facilitado esta herramienta, así como al maestro Rubén Enríquez que está pues frente a esta estrategia de fortalecimiento del inglés. No me queda más que darles las gracias y que tengan un buen día. Las fechas para el siguiente webinar se las haremos saber de manera oportuna y esperemos contar nuevamente con su presencia. Muchas gracias y nos vemos pronto.